Human history is rife with tales of life after death. The possibility of a spirit world of any description is something currently beyond our capacity of reliable scientific study, but methods of contacting the spirit world have existed in almost every faith worldwide, and in more recent times become a topic of interest for various branches of the scientific community. The subject matter of this video is neither proven by reliable scientific means nor conforms to widespread popular belief, so with that in mind, we take a look at our top 5 methods for contacting the spirit world. Let's begin. Number 5. EVP, Electronic Voice Phenomena. The premise of EVP is fairly simple. A common theory in the pseudoscientific community is that spirits must manipulate energy in some form, and since drawing that energy together to project its form or make contact would require an energy source to manipulate, electrical instruments are a readily available source to do just that. A common theory in the pseudoscientific community is that spirits must manipulate energy in some form, and since drawing that energy together to project its form or make contact would require an energy source to manipulate, electrical instruments are a readily available source to do just that. The most reliable way of producing results through use of EVP is to visit an area of reported spiritual turbulence, and using a digital recording device, address the entity vocally and await a response. More often than not, you will not hear a response in real time. It won't be until the recorded audio is played back and analysed that voices may appear in response to your statements. Responses range from simple answers all the way through to violent threats or unearthly sounds. There are many examples of such recordings online, and of course, it is easily attempted yourself. Number 4. Scrying. The practice of scrying dates back centuries. Every civilization on Earth has had some degree of experience attempting to foretell important events or gather information outside of normal understanding. The most well-known scrying technique is that of the use of a crystal ball, but many other techniques exist ranging from the use of a black mirror and candlelight to sifting through the entrails of a freshly killed animal. For example, in this video, we will take a look at the method utilizing a black mirror. Obsidian is a commonly used material, but plain glass painted black on one side will perform just as well. The method requires angling the mirror slightly to the ceiling so it is reflecting empty space. A candle is lit and other lights turned out. Upon staring into the empty black mirror, you will begin seeing wisps of pale, shapeless matter, which will eventually start forming more complex shapes as you keep a question in your mind. The shapes are said to converge into faces or writing depending on what question is in mind during the attempt. While likely a side effect of poor light and nothing for your eyes to focus on, it makes for a very interesting experience and may well perform as intended. Number 3. Summoning. Perhaps one of the most ancient methods for spiritual contact is the act of summoning. Many scholars, magicians, and necromancers throughout history have developed supposed means of bringing forth a spirit into our plane of existence to gain information or to study. The more calculated and ritualistic approach to summoning a spirit requires the use of intricate geometric designs etched onto the ground, symbolic of a safe space for the magician and a holding area for the entity called upon. Signs, sigils, and circles of power are drawn up with a specific purpose in mind, and the ritual itself would vary too much to allow for an example here, but would likely require the spirit's name and an item they possessed in life to focus the will of the magician. If successful, the spirit would appear and be at the command of the caster. If unsuccessful, the ritual would fail, or worse yet, bring forth something completely unintended. Number 2. Itc Instrumental Transcommunication. Taking a step into the more scientific method is the art of ITC. While rather uncommon in paranormal research and contact techniques, ITC has been known to produce some very interesting results, all of which are captured on video or images due to the method's required setup and equipment. A television is tuned to an AV channel, and a video camera is linked into the display so that the monitor is displaying a feedback loop from the camera. The camera is then turned to face the display, resulting in a recurring image of digital interference. The camera will now be set to record the images while the researcher attempts to call forth any potential spirits in the vicinity, or just allows the recording to happen naturally. The results are questionable most of the time, due to the potential for stray television signals to be incorporated into the video feed, but it is common to receive images of human faces, sometimes malformed and disturbing, And since the setup requires a video camera, all results are recorded for later scrutiny. Performing this technique in an area known to be affected with spiritual activity would make for a very interesting experiment, and can readily be tested at home for your own research. Number 1. Spirit baiting. Commonly seen on ghost hunting TV shows to some degree, the act of spirit baiting is an unpredictable and sometimes dangerous method of contact. The technique can range from fairly subdued implementation, such as asking to move an item or close a door, through to rather aggressive demands and insults in an attempt to provoke the spirit into an act of increased spectacle. A point that is rarely discussed when this technique is employed on television is that taking the aggressive and provocative route is essentially picking a fight with an entity which may well act violently as standard. Any success in goading such an entity into physical contact could result in some of the more escalated responses seen in spiritual attack, such as scratches, bites, and a degree of poltergeist activity. This technique is definitely the riskiest on our list, and not recommended due to the lack of safeguards in place. So there you have it, that was our top 5 list of techniques for contacting the spirit world. Check back again for another top 5 darkest video. Until next time.